Cosatu says this year's Workers' Day, I should say, must mark a new era of unity between unions and the ANC-led alliance. ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa will address the May Day rally in Bethlehem, that's in the Free State, alongside Cosatu. The rally will also commemorate the lives of 51 people who died in a bus crash. This was back in 2003. Newzroom Afrika's Govan Whittles has been following developments in the lead up to these, to the speeches. Perhaps, Govan, let's begin with the wreath-laying ceremony that you say you have just attended, where President Cyril Ramaphosa was also present at the site of these 51 workers who were killed in that bus crash. Any words from the leaders there?
Good morning, Oli. Well, what we saw a little bit earlier from the edge of the Sol Plaatje dam that's just behind me is President Cyril Ramaphosa coming out of his car, being received by Cosatu's leadership and the families of those 51 workers through song. No indication that they were unhappy with him at all. That's important because, of course, a little bit later, within an hour, hour and a half perhaps, we're expecting him to address that May Day rally at the Bethlehem showgrounds. He was here laying a wreath at that memorial site that's at the edge of the dam. We also spoke to the Cosatu president, who had said that they believe that Cyril Ramaphosa, as the president of the ANC, should be allowed to speak. He shouldn't be disrupted, because it's only cordial for Cosatu to do so, because Cosatu is invited to ANC events and the president, Zingiswa, doesn't get booed at those events and her speeches aren't disrupted. That's the manner in which that they've tried to convince the workers of the different affiliates of Cosatu not to disrupt today's proceedings. The ANC also saying that they're convinced that if the president is heckled or disrupted, it wouldn't be by Cosatu workers. Of course, they acknowledge that there is some unhappiness among public sector workers with regards to their public sector wage standoff, and generally among Cosatu's affiliates because of the higher cost of living and the what is now becoming a pattern of lower than CPI agreements being signed by Cosatu affiliates with the state and even with private industries. They're acknowledging that workers are generally unhappy with the state of their treatment in South Africa, but they say, the ANC at least, that there are functions that are being performed by the traditional channels, such as the public sector collective bargaining council, which should alleviate this unhappiness or address their concerns. It's clear that the president's reception at the showgrounds will be a reception by workers who are on the ground, who are actually not getting these increases, who are faced with this tough standard of living every day. What he got here was a reception by Cosatu's leadership, a lot of them CEC members, trying to show him that indeed they've taken a decision to support him as the leader of the ANC at today's May Day rallies, that they will try their best not to let the same thing happen that happened last year in Rustenburg. But here at the edge of the Sol Plaatje dam, there was also some unhappiness from the survivors of that bus crash, who say they haven't been compensated at all. Only none of them received payments from the road accident fund, and they say that there's only been one social worker assigned in the municipality to deal with the trauma which they still face 20 years after the crash.
The struggles of workers in South Africa. Govan Whittles, thank you very much. He is following the lead up to the May Day commemoration speeches. We'll bring that to you live as soon as it happens.